Number 4, in terms of the most important ranking factors, start getting you ranking in that map pack, building the business of your dreams, finally starting to make the money that you deserve, is the completeness of your Google Business Profile. So, like we talked about before, a lot of these ranking factors are not super controllable, like our address, like our location, stuff like that. But out of the ones that are, when we kind of weight it all into actionable steps, is kind of the fourth most important thing, and it's just the completeness of your Google Business Profile. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over, in this quick little video, we're going to go over kind of your Google Business Profile and how we can kind of fill out that completeness and give Google as much information as possible. So if you've already watched the other videos, you know that your main business category is primary category is the most important thing. Having your keyword right here in your business name is also super important. Window cleaning, plumbing services, whatever your main keyword is, having that there. And now we're going to get into kind of the rest of the Google Business Profile and filling out the completeness of it. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on Edit Profile. So boom, business name, done. Business category. So once again, we want to have the primary category, make sure it's correct. And then we want to add 3 to 4, 5 additional categories just to kind of tell Google some more information about what services we can provide. So just go ahead and click here, add category, and just type in some of your services that you might provide and add anything that's relevant. You don't want to go too crazy, but 3 to 5 kind of sounds like a good number to add in your additional categories, right? Description. So contrary to popular belief, your Google Business Profile description is not like some SEO thing that Google's reading. You want to add a bajillion keywords. Like you'll see the people and they have their main keyword in their description a million times. Like our description, we want it to be like plain English. We don't want to just like stuff keywords in it. But you feel free to use ChatGPT for this. I mean, you could just say, you can say, hey, I'm a window cleaning company in such and such California. Please write a short description of my business for my Google Business Profile. Super simple. Give you a description. You just want something in here compelling that shows your value propositions like, hey, we believe in eco-friendly solutions, customer satisfaction guarantee, $100 off your first quote, whatever. Just kind of make a description telling about your business, how long you've been doing it, build some of that authority, and write some compelling copy in there. Opening date. So we want to add an opening date. The age of your Google Business Profile is a ranking factor, but the problem, that doesn't really have to correlate with your opening date. So, obviously, you could just go to opening date and say you were open in the 90s or in the 50s, whatever. And but that's not really going to help you rank better. The age of Google Business Profile is actually like, hey, from the day you start your Google Business Profile, how long has it been up? Not necessarily the opening date of your business, but once again, we're going for the completeness of your Google Business Profile, so go ahead and add in an opening date there. The first time you ever paid for services or whatever. Phone number. We want to add our phone number in here. There's been talks about wanting to make sure you have a local area code in here. It's not high up in the list. So it's not super important, but it's probably something you should add. So just make sure you have a phone number in here, of course, so somebody can call you. Website. So a lot of the information that Google is going to use to try and figure out what to rank your business for is going to be coming from the SEO and like kind of the content on your website. And so we will talk about that in the later videos when we're going through it. But for now, just make sure you have your website in there. Once again, we want to have a complete Google Business Profile. So social profiles. This is kind of a newer thing. Google hasn't had this forever. Google's obviously, as always, trying to get rid of spam listings. Make sure the businesses on your Google Business Profile are real businesses that people can go to or call and they can get help that day or soon. And so the thing is spam businesses normally don't have a bunch of social media profiles because they just don't take the time to do it. But as a business owner, you're like, yeah, I need to have a Facebook and Instagram or whatever. So go ahead and add all your Facebook and Instagram profile links. So it's pretty simple. Just like, type in your Instagram, find it, or type in your Facebook and just go to your profile and copy the link. It's not rocket science. I trust that if you've gotten this far in the training, you can probably do that. But yeah, you just go to your profile, and then that's your little profile link right there, and you can copy that in. So yeah, go back here. So yeah, you want to paste in your links right there to your social profiles. Add as many as you can. The more, the better. Once again, we're just showing Google that we're a real business. That we're not a spam listing, right? All right. So location and area. So if your service area business, you'll keep the location empty. But if you do have a location, you'll add your location in there. If you don't have your location in there right now, and you're going to add your location, just be aware you're probably going to trigger a re-verification where you're going to have to do some sort of video verification, or not really, they don't do postcards anymore, but a video verification or a call or whatever. Just let you know. So if you do edit that right now, be prepared to, your Google Business Profile to be probably, unverified or suspended, so that you'll have to, re-verify it again with the new address, because your location is very powerful in terms of how you rank. Service area. So this has nothing to do with how you rank. It really doesn't affect, if just because you put Los Angeles in here doesn't mean you're going to be ranking in Los Angeles. All this does is this kind of gives you that map right there. So if we go back to, let me pull up this. If I can type. All right. So all this kind of service area does is it just kind of creates this outline right here. We can see a little white outline around where you're ranking, around where the areas you serve. So in terms of your service areas, you just want to put in anywhere you'll drive to, right? Put in as far as span that you will drive to service somebody, or if you do have a location or you're a brick and mortar business, people come to you. This isn't relevant. It's not going to be popped up, and so you don't have to worry about that. But for people that are home service business and you drive out to your customers, go ahead and add anywhere you'll drive to. And that'll kind of create the grid, so that if somebody's seeing that from a consumer's perspective, they're not like, oh, I'm outside of that grid, I shouldn't reach out. Make sure if you'll drive to them, make sure they're covered in that. In terms of hours, so Google has updated some stuff with hours, where basically if your Google Business Profile says that you're open, and somebody is typing in your main keyword, your whatever you want to rank for, and let's say your competitor says they're closed on that day, you've got a better chance of popping up than them. And basically then people immediately think, oh, well, I should be open 24/7. Sweet. Well, if you are a window cleaning company and it says you're open 24/7, Google will probably change that for you, or email you and say, hey, we're worried about some policy concerns, and they might, re-trigger a verification on your page. So be realistic. You're not Waffle House, you're a home service company or whatever. If you are 24/7, put 24/7, and you can make the case to Google if they do something. But you just want to add in here, what I always tell people is, I say 7 days a week, make your hours broad. It's much better to get the lead and have to respond later, or and respond on Monday, than not get the lead at all, right? And so what I recommend is 7 days a week, broad hours. Once again, if you are brick and mortar, obviously it's a lot more important, right? If you have people showing up to your store, you obviously want to make sure your actual hours are correct. So yeah, fill in that, make sure your hours are there. Special hours. This is when we get to the completeness of the Google Business Profile. We're kind of talking about, hey, Google's like, how much attention are you paying your Google Business Profile, right? Like, are you still in business? Are you active? How do we tell Google that we're still in business? Well, we come in here and we update our special hours for Easter, or for, a certain date coming up or whatever. And so just go ahead and add any special hours you might have on holidays, Christmas time, New Year's, whatever, for sure. And so then if you click here, you can see add more hours. This is really for brick and mortar stuff, you'll see. But yeah, go ahead and add online service hours. Like when do we serve people online? Go ahead and add all the stuff you can there if it's relevant. And then here for more, you can go ahead and click, whatever you identify as. So you can add LGBTQ, veteran, woman, Black, Asian, disabled, indigenous. You can add all those things there, or not all of them, but add whichever one's pertinent. And once again, we're just filling out all the information on Google just to show Google, hey, we're paying attention. Crowd, this is a new one. You can click whether you're LGBTQ friendly or not. And then planning. Once again, we're just filling out all this information. Go through, fill it out. It's pretty simple. And so that is kind of just the profile aspect of it. Now we're going to go into some other things that, in terms of completeness of that we're just showing Google, hey. And so what we want to do is we want to have photos. I recommend, don't worry about geotagging all these images and stuff like that. I know people freak out about that, but go ahead and add 50 to 100 photos. You might have to add them in 20 or 30 photo increments, but go ahead and add 100 photos or so. If you want to allow messaging, just be ready for that. Google obviously loves to keep everything on Google. So if you can do Google Business Profile messaging, you can turn it on, and then just make sure you know how you're receiving those messages. So services right here, this is where we can kind of go crazy, right? Services, you can just add as many as possible, so that if someone thinks of your service as something that might not fit into one of Google's boxed in categories. So, for example, I was talking to a garage coating company. They do like the epoxy coatings and stuff like that. He says that a lot, like people call it a bunch of different things. People call it concrete coating. People call it floor polishing. People call it epoxy coating. People call it floor marbling. People call it a whole bunch of different things. And those services and categories aren't even listed on Google. So what you can come in here is you can add more services, and you can add a custom service. So like floor marbling or whatever, and you can just add that as a custom service. And you can see here I've already added some custom services for him. And when I do this, I just love to add an emoji in there, because what does that do? It just really sticks out. So when you type in something in when you type in a certain keyword and the map pack pops up, Google might pull in justifications, and those justifications will be like what services are added to the Google Business Profile. And so if they see the justification with like the emoji in it, then that's going to kind of get their attention and increase the click-through rate. You can see right here, these are what the justifications are. So if we type in hot water replacement distance, like hot water heater replacement, whatever, you can see Google's trying to pull in some relevant information from that Google Business Profile to see whether that fits the query that they typed into Google, right? So we can see Emerald Bay Plumbing, it pulls in, provides their services right here. It pulls in water heaters, water heater installation, water heater repair. Boom, that's a justification. And so, for example, if Google were to pull in some justifications from this business, solar panel scrubbing, say someone typed that in, then I just have a little emoji there, it's a little something. But what you want to do is you just want to click on services, add as many services that are relevant. You can see Google's adding these services all the time. And Google will do this for you automatically as well. So if someone types in something and then clicks on your Google Business Profile for that keyword, then Google kind of like automatically adds some stuff through there based off all the data they're collecting. So yeah, just go in here. Google will give you a bunch of suggestions. Add as many that are relevant. Obviously, don't add, if you're Waffle House, don't add plumbing. Be smart. But yeah, so that goes into, once again, the completeness of your Google Business Profile. Another thing, so Q&A. You can go in here and ask questions, and then you can answer them. There are services out there, not to speak poorly of anybody, but there are services out there that charge hundreds of dollars a month just for you to like add a post and add new questions on your Google Business Profile. That doesn't help you. That's not going to help you rank better on Google. Maybe like a tiny bit. It is important to do like once, I think, just for the completeness of your Google Business Profile, because we can see having a complete Google Business Profile is important, but it's not something you need to pay somebody to do every single month, or you need to come in here and do every month. But just go ahead and add some of your frequently asked questions and answer them yourself. That's important. And we can see here any other information. We're going to go into products later. So these products of this right here, that is actually has a decent amount to do with ranking. But yeah, that kind of is just the summary of your Google Business Profile completeness, making sure you're having everything filled out, making sure that Google knows where you are, who you are, what you do, etc. So yeah, now next one, just go ahead and mark this one as completed if you're done, or if you have any questions at all, feel free to pop any questions in the community, and we'll get back to and answer as quickly as possible. See you in the next one.